At the start, I thought I was doing a good job. I look back on it now and I'm like, okay, I was doing things wrong.
It's not about like the experience and being ready. The difference between people who do and those that don't is literally a choice and a decision, and the ability to go, do you know what, I'm going to f this up, I'm going to fail, but I'll learn and improve as I go. Like, how old are you?
I've just turned 20.
Oh my gosh.
I'm fully fired up. Let's make it happen.
Welcome back to the Fired Up podcast, where we help you get your together so you can make it happen. We're all about starting, growing and scaling. Do yourself a favor, follow our socials and subscribe to our channels so you don't miss an update. Let's get pumped up for this episode.
Welcome back to the Fired Up podcast. I'm very excited to be joined with Aaron today from Attentive Detailing. I've heard you being called AA Ron.
Yeah.
You okay with that?
Always, yeah, that's fine.
AA Ron. So look, the reason we've asked AA Ron on today is we actually met through a mutual connection. I started looking at this guy's business and I was super impressed with the presence that you've got there, what you've done on socials. Said, look, let's get you on the podcast, and since you're coming this way anyway, you may as well do the job that you say that you are so good at. And I tell you what, so impressed with the whole front end of the process. Communication, outstanding. I can't give you guys more than 10 out of 10 for that. That was great, which is all good, but you've actually got to turn up and deliver on the job as well. And now that that job is done, I can say they've absolutely done that. So I've had my car done by a lot of people. I won't be using anybody else, but I wanted to get you on the podcast to talk about how you started the business, what led you to this point, and then we can talk around some of the tactical stuff that you're doing that's working and some of the stuff that's not working as well. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it and all the kind words. That's what we're here for. We're here to deliver the best service.
Yeah, and you've done that. Look, and I mean, if there were things that I personally felt were like, that could have been better or whatever, I'd call it out. Like, we're no bullshit. But it just absolutely outstanding. I think that's where a lot of businesses are failing these days, is on the basics. Like delivering a great product, but their communication sucks, their punctuality sucks, their process sucks, and that kind of impacts the whole thing. But look, you guys have absolutely nailed it. So, mate, I want to start off with, let's go back. Like, where did you grow up? Where are you from? Give us a bit of your story that leads us up to the point of going, do you know what? I'm going to start a car detailing business.
Yeah, cool. So the kind of where it started, I was born in Redlands, born and raised in there. So still living in the same home that I was originally born in. So
Wow.
it's been 20 years now in the same house.
That's rare.
Was really fortunate enough that I was put into a private school with my parents that actually didn't do too well for themselves. And that's kind of where it started, the motivation of wanting to start a business. My parents kind of in the lower class, they just consistently struggled with money, and it was almost like consuming their life. Mm-hmm. It was always a struggle. So I didn't want that to be my future or something that happens to me. And instantly as a young person, it's like, what do all the rich guys do? Oh, they all have companies and businesses. I've got to do that. Yep. And then eventually just from that, it kind of fell into a passion where I'd walk into a Macca's and I would kind of look behind the counter and go, how is there 15-year-olds running that joint? Like, who's in charge? What are their systems? And things like that. And just what's their rent? What's their profit margins? And just curiosity, which really kind of got me kind of triggered in business at the start. And I had, during school, I did my diploma of business and I finished that and I just knew I learned nothing from that. There was nothing that I actually gained that had any application at all to business. So I thought, look, I'm either going to finish school, I'm going to go to uni and do the bachelor, or I'm just going to start my own business. And just off that, I just thought I'm just going to jump straight in. I can always go back to uni if I need to. Yeah. So let's just, while I'm young and I'm still at home, let's just jump right in.
You won't need to go back to uni. I think you've already figured that out.
Yeah.
But just out of curiosity, what kind of things were they teaching in this diploma of business?
So the diploma of business, basically it was really, really simple. So there was an entire course on marketing, and the main questions you were being asked is, hey, if your ideal audience is a 50-year-old middle-aged woman, what platform are you going to use? And you'd say Facebook, and they're like, woo, well done. And I'm like, that's super, super simple stuff. And It was like writing emails to bring people into meetings. So if you were in the leadership team and you were inviting all the leadership team to come and have a meeting. Right. And there was little things like that, but it's really had no application to me yet at all.
Yeah. It's interesting. We can get into this a bit later, but they're not even teaching in schools and, in my opinion, in universities, and these generic kind of approaches, not obviously medical and legal and the likes, but what they're teaching in these places today isn't relevant for today. And they should be teaching things that are relevant in 10, 20 years. And they're just way off, because what's the point of even asking, hey, you guys, draft up an email to send out to a bunch of executives to go to a meeting, or where does the 50-year-old lady hang out so you can put the ad in front of her? Because how would we do that today? Chat GPT.
Yeah.
So we don't even have to actually figure this stuff out that we used to. And the solution to get there way quicker and better is now in the palm of our hands with the tech that we've now got. So I couldn't imagine putting my kids through university. I don't know if you know my story so much, but 27 schools, 25 of those were primary. So I was full-time work at 15, and it was like the best education you can ever get is actually going through the process and doing it. How did you come out of that? You've gone, I'm going to go and try and have a crack at starting my business. Was the first business this one?
This was the first business. I kind of did a few little things when I was younger. Like the first thing I ever did was when the drop shipping was going crazy.
Yeah.
And I think I was in year 8 maybe, and I had no money to my name, and I made a website that was going to sell silicone iPhone cases, and I was going to get them off Alibaba for $2 and sell them for $5. I made the website and then realised, hold up, for people to know about the product, I've got to have money to advertise. I didn't have anything. So that was the end. I made the website, and then I still have access to it today. It's just done nothing with it. But that was I just always was thinking of ideas. As I left school, didn't have a bunch of capital. So it's, hey, what can I do? What do I know? I worked from about 16, 17. I worked at a car wash just during school, year 11 and 12. I knew, hey, I know how to wash cars as a car washer. Can I learn how to become a detailer and be better at it, and then actually offer it to people? So that's when I started my car detailing service. I only had $500 that I put into the equipment, just made a list of what I needed. Then I advertised to my local Facebook group. So we have like a community with neighbours. I think there's about 300 in there. Advertised them and got my first 10 clients out of there.
Yeah, wow. So did you do any skills training in detailing? Because you knew how to wash cars, but not how to detail. How did you learn that?
It came with the process.
Right.
At the start, I thought I was doing a good job. I look back on it now and I'm like, okay, I was doing things wrong. I should have been using this product instead.
Yeah.
But that just comes with the process.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so you've decided you want to start the business. You get some equipment, low capital. You reach out to people you know and say, give me a shot, learn it on the way. Did I see somewhere that it wasn't called this?
Correct. Yeah, so it started off as Hukin Details, which was just my last name. Biggest problem with that is no one knew how to pronounce it.
Right.
So it's Hukin. Everyone said Hukin, Hukin. No one really knew how to pronounce it. I knew instantly, if you don't know how to pronounce it, you don't know how to say it.
Yep.
It shouldn't be my business name. And it was good for me in the sense of, hey, it's my last name, it's cool. But my vision's always been it's more than me. I don't want to be washing the cars for the rest of my life. It's going to be more than just me on the team, so it shouldn't just be me. And that's kind of when I made that change. I knew I was, I think, a year into business. And I thought, look, it's better to change now than to be changing 5 years down the line.
Yeah, good point. And we haven't mentioned yet, but I think it's an important part. Like, how old are you?
I've just turned 20.
Oh my gosh. So anybody watching or listening to this, it's not about like the experience and being ready. It's about actually taking a lot of little experiments and actually just trying on the way. The difference between people who do and those that don't is literally a choice and a decision, and the ability to go, do you know what, I'm going to fuck this up, I'm going to fail, but I'll learn and improve as I go. Too many people wait to be completely ready, completely comfortable, completely organised, website's got to be completely done. Just scrap all that. Just start the step and start moving forward, and it'll evolve as you go. It's so yeah, cool. So how did we come up with Attentive Auto Detailing?
So Attentive just came. Realistically, I wanted to be attention auto detailing, like, hey, we actually provide a lot of attention to your care. And then that was already taken. So I was just searching, hey, what are the synonyms for it? On Google, found Attentive. It wasn't used anywhere else. So I just thought, hey, I like the name, and that's all that matters. I'm going to go with that.
Cool. So now I just want to quickly kind of go over the steps in the progress, because now you've obviously got fully equipped van, uniforms, you've got everything's working and working well. What were kind of some of those early stage challenges, and how did you kind of plan on what was going to happen with the business? I don't know how long you've been running, in all honesty, but if we just even go back 12, 24 months, I'm assuming it's been quite a big shift from there to today.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so we've been operating for 2.5 years now. And the biggest thing that kind of held me back at the beginning was just my pricing. I was charging way too little. The market was charging that 150 range. I was charging about 75 for a standard in and out, which is our most common service.
And tell me why you see the market doing 150 and you do 75.
Because originally I priced myself at the car wash prices. So that car wash I worked at, I just said, hey, I'll do their price a little bit cheaper. So that was even worse. But then I realised my service is actually now detailing. And then I looked at the detailers around and they were charging way more than I thought. And I actually thought at the start, because I was a little bit clueless, I thought they were all just being greedy. I remember talking to one of my clients. I charged her $55 and she said she was quoted by someone else $120. And I said, I would never do that to you. That's so greedy. Like, they don't need that much money.
Yeah.
Little did I know I was making 25 an hour.
Yeah.
I probably didn't even make any money on that job at all. So yeah, the first thing that really held me back was my pricing. And I'm a bit of a people pleaser, which we can kind of get into later. So I love people. I have an emotional connection with all my clients.
Yep.
So raising prices is something that's hard for me. A lot of people that I know just say, I'll just double them. And I'm like, I want to, but I've known this person for a year now. I look after their car. If I double it, if she loses, then she's going to have to find someone else that might not do a good job. So I find it hard for me to raise prices. So instead of just working out, hey, I need to be at this range, I just went, I'll add $10. 3 months later, I'll add $10. I'll add $10. And it took me almost 2 years to actually get to where I should be at, which is really what held me back. And then because I wasn't charging enough, I didn't have the margins, so I didn't actually have any money to put back into the business. Eventually, over time as well, then I was saving for a house deposit. And then I realised, well, I kind of came to a decision, should I get a house or should I invest back in the business? And it came back down to, look, a house is a safe option, but if I invest back into the business, it's actually going to make me more money back quicker. So I'm going to make that deposit back twice as quick.
Yeah. And I mean, how much do you think an average house goes up per year?
What's that, sorry?
How much do you think the average house goes up per year?
Heaps.
Well, no, it doesn't. Like, I mean, recently it has, like since 2020 with all this crazy shit. Yeah, most people who bought a house in 2020, it'll be worth double now. But if you go across the history, getting a 10% capital growth return on your house is considered good.
Yeah.
And that's, to your point, if I was to look at my business and go, oh, it's going to go up 10% year after year after year, to me, that's limiting. And you can take a business and go, shit, I've doubled my revenue in the last 6 months. I can triple my revenue next year if I follow these steps. So that's why the business is good, because it's not limited. You can have a slow year or you can have a busy year. That actually comes back to you.
Yeah.
I want to ask you just a few questions on this. So you said you're emotionally connected to your customers and stuff. So I'm assuming a lot of them are return customers. This year, what percentage of your jobs are by repeat clients versus new clients? Roughly, if you don't know the exact.
75% are repeat. So I have 55 vehicles on a monthly maintenance schedule, and that holds most of my kind of schedule.
Say that again?
75%.
The other thing, they're 55?
55 repeat customers on a monthly schedule.
Right. Is the monthly schedule priced differently?
No, it's priced at kind of my standard detail. Some of them are a little bit cheaper, the ones that have been with me for years. Like I said, I haven't bumped them up fully, but I try to keep them at just that standard rate.
Is this a subscription?
Yeah.
Cool. And any terms on it, like 6 months, 12 months?
So we never really had any terms, and one of our problems was we had cancellations every week. We had about 7 cancellations a week we would average, which just wasn't good for me. I would turn up on the day and they said, oh, sorry, I had to go to the doctors. And they'd say, oh, we'll see you next time. Because to them, they just see me next time. I understand why they can just cancel, but I eventually had to incorporate a cancellation fee.
How much is that?
25% of the service. So, hey, if you cancel within 48 hours, you owe 25% of the service. I haven't really charged anyone cancellation fees since.
Yeah.
Because now that's in place, people are a bit more aware, they respect my time a little bit more, and it seems to be a little bit better for sure.
Oh, okay. This is interesting. So then only 25% of the business being new business. Where is the new business coming from?
Primarily, I've got my Google Organic set up, so my SEO. I Google my business. If you search up Redlands car detailing near me, We're always in the top 3. So that's really where our leads are coming from. But yeah, we pop up in about 200 searches a month. So yeah, that's where the most leads are. And then also the organic people coming from word of mouth.
Yeah. Do you have a referral program?
I don't, because we don't need one.
Why not?
Because we're averagely booked out about 6 weeks in advance.
Okay, so you then have a capacity problem.
Yes.
What are your plans to solve that capacity problem?
Yeah, so the biggest, as you said, the capacity is I was focusing on too many little jobs as well, which are actually least profitable than focusing on the big jobs. So currently what I'm in the stage of doing now is trying to delegate the little jobs, so all the maintenance. So hey, here's the basic jobs, here's the maintenance you can all handle yourself. I'm going to go do the ceramic coating jobs and the window tinting jobs in the shop, which have an average value of about $1,000 rather than my $150 cleans. So that's kind of the process is, hey, the basics are my bread and butter, but they're taking up too much of my time. I don't want to be doing them anymore. So let's delegate them out to someone else, train him up, get him doing all the basics. That way I can move to the bigger jobs.
Is that the plan with your team?
Correct, yeah. So Kobe's been with me for 8 weeks now. In the next couple of weeks, he's ready to go out on his own.
Cool. The reason I asked around it, so there's 2 things that spring to mind there. One is 6 weeks. So if I'm looking for a car detail, I'm not going to wait 6 weeks.
No.
Now, if I'm on a recurring scheduling, cool, because it happens every 6 weeks or every 5 weeks, every 4 weeks, whatever. I don't have to think about it. Yeah. But it's that impulsive thing. Car, want it detailed because this is happening. Hey guys, look, we're booked out. No worries, next one. So there's a lot of lost opportunity there that we could probably map out on how to close that gap. The other thing is why I said referral program. It's because 75% of your business is repeat business. So you can actually use these customers to be getting you new customers. And for them, they get a little treat or something in return for doing so. Because there is no better system than the referral system. And if I ever need anything from anyone or whatever, I always go straight to my network. Like, who's the best in the business for this guy? Cool. I generally won't go to Google, which, I mean, I've built a network over the years to be able to do that. But Google would be for the stuff like that I'm kind of like needing as an impulse or rapid, and no one can help me with it. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to lock that in there and we'll talk about it. So how's business going overall?
Really good. So at the moment we're in kind of a transition period, as we were just talking about, is, hey, I'm still out in the van, which is the mobile work, and I'm going to be delegating that. So we're at a bit of a transition point where we have a shop location and we've got the van right now, but the shop's just staying steady. So we've kind of taken our hit to our margins. We're turning over about 12K a month, and we've taken a hit to the margins at the moment. And that's something you've got to do in business, I find as well, is, hey, you've got to drop your ego, take a hit sometimes. That way you can get that return in the future. So right now I'm just taking a hit. I'm not really, to be honest, making that much right now because I'm training. Once that training's done and I move into the bigger jobs, and it's going to be pretty much 100% profit because the van's covering all the expenses for the business. So then once I'm in the shop, it'll be close. I'm projecting, the next 2 months to be doing about 20K a month.
Cool. Have you got a plan, whether it's this year or next year, to more vans?
I don't want to go more vans. I would probably go more shops.
Okay.
I've worked out that kind of scaling in the van is a bit more difficult when it's mobile work. It's easier to work in the shade. It's hard with mobile as well because every customer is different. See, yesterday when we went out, I said, hey, this lady, you can't use this PowerPoint, you've got to use this one. You can't plug your hose in there, you got to go there. This one likes you to park on the lawn, this one doesn't like you to park on the lawn.
So it takes a bit of the control of the
it's a little bit more difficult, and it makes the process harder to teach and delegate, where if it's at the shop, the car comes in, you do the same process, the car comes out, the equipment doesn't change, it's not hotter on a black car, so now you've got to change your process. And I just found going to be having employees in the shop, it's going to be a lot easier for sure.
That as well, yeah. Because we were talking about it before when we were outside, around the car, convenience. And you can charge a lot of money for convenience because people are prepared to pay for convenience. Yep. So having the detailing come to your property, that's super convenient. And obviously it's not super effective for you guys, so you're trying to now drive people back into the shop. How could you apply a level of convenience to that, where you could say, for example, to the customer, we'll come and get the car, we'll take it to the shop and do our work and we'll bring it back to you, but that costs X.
Yeah. Well, a loan car is something that we could be doing in the future. Obviously, just the margins aren't there now, and the volume of work's not at the shop to be able to invest in that. But that's something I've looked at doing, and hey, there's 2 of us now, so we can go and pick up some cars, and we have done that to some of our clients. We've said, we had this one client I think 3 weeks ago where he's super busy, he's a business owner, he's got lots to do, but we knew he wants to get the car done. Just rang him up and said, hey mate, I've got a cancellation for tomorrow, we'll come pick up your car, we'll drop it off.
Yeah.
Done. He said, done. Perfect, come pick it up.
Yeah. Because there's just, it's time and time again, and people are getting so impatient now. It's like, obviously, supermarket, grocery delivery, that number's growing every single year.
Yeah.
Supermarkets know it, and they're happy to drive it because then it's just distribution centres and tech, and slowly the supermarkets will come down. They might have smaller ones or whatever, like impulse ones, but a lot of people will do their shopping online and then they get it delivered. Why? Because it's super convenient. So then, we spoke about, well, that's how Uber smashed the taxis, because I don't have to find the taxi queue and all this. It's just convenience. So I think everybody needs to be thinking about that as an opportunity, not just as going, hey, we provide this as a service. You can go, well, option A, you bring it into the shop and we do your full service and that costs that. Or option B is we sort you out service, or our convenience service. So we'll come and collect the car from you, detail it and drop it back. Or, I'm just spitballing ideas here, we'll organise the Uber. Once you drop it off, back to your place, and we'll put that on the invoice. Yeah. Just things that just removes the drama or the headache for the customer. But when I did take the car in for a repair, I was like, well, am I just hanging out in the waiting room? They're like, no, we've got an Uber on the way for you. Yeah, and then once the car's ready, we'll get an Uber to come pick you up. And I was like, awesome.
Yeah, it's the path of least resistance, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's with everything.
Yeah.
Even Facebook ads. You go to a Facebook ad and you click on one and then it says, oh, fill in all these details, answer these 5 questions, answer this, and then we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
No, you just want to click the button, bang, it's in your email.
That's it.
You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So business is good, 2.5 years to where you guys are at, 12K revenue, shop, and first employees. Look, I wasn't, bullshitting, but what I found super impressive was from the booking to turning up, great communication. It was done in a great way via text message for reminders and everything else. That was all like super crisp. I want to just talk quickly about some of the systems process that you have internally.
Yep.
So website, socials, what are you using for a CRM, if anything? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, of course. That's been something we've focused on a lot, is systems and processes.
Yeah.
I know that's a big thing, is, hey, can you dial in your systems and processes before your employees?
Yeah.
So that's something I wanted to do, is like, how can I make my employees' job easier? How can I make the client's job easier? What systems, processes can I put in place? So our CRM, we pay $300 a month for, which is a Urable, which is a scheduling app, but the benefits of it, if it's all automated. So we have deposits for all of our jobs, and originally, hey, we get your information super easy over the phone, or you can fill it out online. You get a link sent to you for a deposit. You pay the deposit. It lets you know, hey, this has been scheduled in. Then you have 2 reminders coming towards up to your booking. You get those reminders on the day. All the employee does is click complete job, and you get that payment link for the rest of the payment. You can download your invoices. So it's a super simple job. Because a year ago, I was collecting payments with cash. I was collecting them with FPOS. I was all the business owners, I'd have to write up invoices for them. Now it's just all in one system, makes it super easy.
So it's called Urable.
Urable, yeah.
So that's a scheduling system, but it's also a CRM. So you're able to do SMS campaigns, email campaigns, customer records, customer history, everything's in there?
Yeah, it's created for detailers.
Yeah, wow.
So it's specific for details. There's features in there where it's like you can choose if the job's at the shop or if it's a mobile job. You can actually have routes between all of your jobs on the day, so your employee knows his route.
Yeah.
So little things like that, that's like actually customized for detailing.
Yeah.
Are really cool.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because like if you go just even back just a couple of years when it came to like CRMs and stuff, there was a couple of big players in the market. Then HubSpot became quite common. That's what I use. Yeah. But even one of my clients who's in the painting business, they were all, Excel and all this stuff. And I was like, we've got to have a system here, just exactly like that. And we went through the process and found like specifically for the trade services in their niche, the CRM. Same thing, job. As soon as they are on the way to the job, customer gets a message, we're on our way. Looks like we're 33 minutes away. And I'm like, it's interesting how customized and niche businesses are getting to really help people because it's convenient and it's the path of least resistance. Otherwise, if you'd gone through this process with HubSpot, you'd probably still be building it, trying to figure out how do I get this to work for my type of industry.
Yeah, I'm surprised more people aren't using the systems.
Yeah.
I don't know any other detailer in Queensland who's using that same system. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why not? It does it all for you. It makes your life 10 times easier.
Yeah, I hope there's no detailers watching this, because you want to keep some of these tactics to yourself maybe. And I also noticed, like, that's great, that's awesome. And from the user experience, it was outstanding. I'm assuming the SMS is built into that.
Yeah, correct.
So once it triggers through the workflow, email and SMS, or is it one or the other?
Yeah, email or SMS, whatever one you choose for
You're
what
choosing.
customer. Yeah, it's just workflow, and you can custom build all the workflows.
Are you choosing SMS by the looks of things?
SMS, yeah.
Yeah. Why is that?
Just more convenient. Everyone's got their phone on them always.
100%. Do you know how many emails I miss a day?
Yeah.
You do not miss an SMS.
Yeah.
So that's really smart and tactical as well. Another thing I noticed, just while we wrap up the business side and move on to other areas, but the back of the van was open and everything was clean, organised, it had its place, everything looked like super systemised and great. And I've seen the back of a detailer's car before and it was horrific.
Yeah.
So did you fit that? Did you get someone to do it? Because obviously that makes you super efficient, effective when you're doing the job. So talk us to how you went around that part as well.
Yeah, so how can I make the employee's job the easiest? That's all it was, is how can I make, if the van's messy, he's got no idea where to put stuff, it's hard. There's a system now. Everything goes back. We do this. There's a checklist at the end of the day of what to put back. The system in place. I built that with a family friend that's a fabricator.
Mm-hmm.
Over in America, they actually build, there's companies that build them, custom build.
Yeah.
Over here, there was none.
Yeah.
And I reached out to them trying to get a template, and I never got a response.
Yeah.
So I worked with the fabricator, and I was like, this is what I need done. And we did a few meetings, and eventually he kind of did most of it for me, and I kind of designed it on a piece of paper. I just drew it, and then he kind of put it together. It's a bit DIY, but it's organised, it presents well, and that's what people remember.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you mentioned at the front end around McDonald's, right? The way that people keep going to McDonald's is because of the consistency. So when they first started out and they had the people on the kitchen, and that person's doing a lot of sauce and that person's doing no sauce, that one's got a lot of onions, that one's got no onions, they're like, how do we systemize?
Yeah.
So now you've got the Macca's sauce guns which go, and everything has got the exact same amount of sauce. So that was awesome to see, because again, it's not just about being professional and stuff, but like you say, you can bring any employee in, train them, guidebook, systems, process, and go. Just follow the steps. And it's very easy to cookie cut or replicate that. You get another van, make the van look like this. We get another 100 customers, this is how we go. And everything just becomes consistent, which is what people want as well, right?
Yeah, and it helps with fulfillment and having employees, but the goal for us has always been, you get us out one time, you never use another detail company. Why? Because we're professional, we got the systems, we have the communication, we do the job well, we do a high quality standard, and then we leave and you're happy.
Yeah.
That's kind of the system we want every single time. It's, you don't need to go anywhere else now, we're here to do it for you, and that's it.
Yeah. Sorry about the crow, by the way. It annoys me. Okay, cool. So is there anything I know probably where you're at in the stage of the business, and a lot of the time the impatience of I just want to do this tomorrow, and I wish this could happen quicker. I wish I had more money. But if you could wave a magic wand, is there anywhere that you're stuck, any help that you need, any way that you think you could excel quicker?
I think the biggest thing for me I want to excel at is the training of the employees. The quicker I can get someone in and trained, the easier it's going to be for me. And then something I've obviously just had to learn with business, like you're saying, is the patience. Is hey, I want to do this, but it might take me 3 months to slowly do that. But the training for me, I want to do over the next year, I do want to build out training modules, just videos and filming them.
Yeah.
That way when they go into, so we kind of have a headquarters for our team, they go in and they can actually find all the videos and try to train themselves. But it's how can I get him from knowing nothing to being a super good detailer in a super quick time? Kobe now, he's been working with us for 9 weeks, and he's pretty much good for basics and he's good for standard jobs. But as soon as it's a heavy interior or full detail, I need to be there just because there'll be a few things mixed.
Yeah.
And it comes with experience, but how can I help kind of avoid that is probably my biggest thing with the fulfillment.
Yeah. So yeah, we spoke patience. Is that the only thing? Like, have you got a fully vetted out business plan and marketing plan kind of scoped out for the year, for 5 years? Like, how far is your trajectory going in terms of planning?
I'd say I have like a 1 year goal, which is super specific, and then I have a 5 year vision. And I don't really go any more than kind of 5-10 years, which I know I should. But for me, I don't even know in 5 years' time, am I going to sell the business? What am I going to do with it? Am I going to go into a different industry?
Yeah.
All I know is I'm just going to stick with business.
Yeah.
So yeah, like 6 months ago, I would have told you, hey, I want 3 vans. Now I just bought my first shop and I've only got 1 van. And that's just the opportunity arose. I knew it was a good decision. I took the risk. So it changes, but I do have a plan. But I do keep it a little bit loose because I know, hey, I trust myself to make the right decision at the right time. So I've got the vision, but that vision often sometimes changes.
So let's talk about it. What's the one big goal?
Yep. Biggest goal is franchising.
Okay.
So for me, franchising shops now. So it's going to be, hey, you have the name. We'll give you your first 50 customers. We'll give you the shop. We'll give you the systems. We'll give you our CRM. We'll set up your CRM for you. We'll give you your uniforms, and just making it super simple for someone to come in. And that would probably be franchising first. So once I have 2 shops and 1 van, for me, I think that's where I'm like, hey, this has built a big enough reputation where I want to franchise it somewhere else. And then I think I want an exit.
Yeah.
And go more into maybe like a business or a software or an AI, something like that.
So, okay. So 1 year plan, suss out the franchising and look at that as the next opportunity.
1 year plan for me is van delegated or the shop delegated.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm moving into the shop work. In a year's time, I don't want to be doing any shop work. I want to be in my office.
Yeah.
So yeah, having that all delegated, all the labor completely.
Yeah.
2 years time, moving into a second shop. And then about 3 years time, hey, how can we actually start franchising this?
Okay, so that was the vision was the franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, super cool. I think you're right to keep them broad and open as well. And I think in terms of how like I would manage this and how I coach my clients on it is your 1 year plan, like that annual plan, which you should have done in November or December. So on January 1, we're away. That should all be planned in place and should just be executed with a slight bit of variability.
Yep.
But you should look back at the end of the year and go, did I execute against that plan? And it should be above 80%.
Yeah.
When we do a 3 or 5 year plan, the 3 year is like, what direction am I going in? And as you go through the months and the years, you go back into that and you go, cool, I'm going to adjust. I'm going to put franchising to year 6, not here. I'm going to actually 1 more shop. And so that can change. But in terms of like the longer term strategy, which is awesome for you to say, is like if it's an exit strategy, then 2035, I want to sell this thing for 5 million.
Yeah.
That goes up on the wall. And now when you can start working through the short term and longer term plans, is that taking me there? And if it's not, okay, cool. Well then take it out the calendar. Don't have time for it. I don't want to do that. And just keep working towards that longer term thing because it really does direct your focus and attention when you have it. It's similar to me with the custom buckles business. That's an exit strategy as well. So I've had that for 18 years. Have I exited at the right time? No, I thought that would have happened at year 15. Situations changed, circumstances came along, and I was like, no, we're going to push that out a bit. So it's still an exit strategy, and to get the best exit, then I have to ensure high revenue, low cost, low overhead, because that's going to show amazing margins, which will make that valuation on that as much. So I've got a couple years, 3-4 years more runway to execute that one. As it relates to Fired Up, it was always going to be, I guess you could use the same analogy, like if you've always got to get in the van and go to people's places, there's only one you. So, as soon as you take a holiday or do something, all of a sudden you're not doing the work.
Yeah.
So thinking about how you can simplify and get efficiency and scale and how do you actually start to make revenue without your input. You can do that via staff or we can do it through the kind of online piece. And for me, I was like, I need to move into, we've got all the content, we've got all the guidance, we've got everything that we've learned about building businesses over the years. How can we put that in someone's pocket? And that's why we're building the app out at the moment. because then people can consume that. I've got worldwide opportunity, not just Australia, and then continue with the podcast and other bits and pieces as a way of amplifying that message and educating as well.
Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, digital products I find, and the online coaching and everything like that, exactly right, because that's why everyone's moving from physical PTs to now becoming online PTs.
Yeah.
Because you can actually be in multiple places at once online technically. You can have a group call with 30 people.
Yeah.
You can't when you're just one-on-one.
Yeah.
For sure. So it's a good way to be taking it for sure.
Well, it gives you mass coverage, right? And then also because you've got mass coverage, now the price point can come down. If you're a PT doing a one-on-one in the gym, that you've got to charge accordingly because it's an hour of time. Gym owner's going to want a fee for using the gym. Then you've got to drive there, so that costs you to do that. You've got to park, that cost. All these things come into play. So once you can actually start to remove some of the cost and get a larger scope of audience, now the price point can actually be proportioned to that. So, because I mean, like one-on-one coaching with like exec coaching, that could be $10,000, $15,000 a month for a couple of sessions.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden you've wiped out 90% of the market who goes, well, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
So how do you get an off? And you have a choice. That's cool, but I'm an executive coach and I only need 100 clients and I'm, doing 100K a month. Or if that's not feasible because I have to physically turn up to do it and now I'm doing 60-hour weeks, what's the other alternative? And it's so hard to try and think that far in the future because shit changes so quickly. But I think if you've got a vision for something that far, at least it points you in the right direction to help with decision making and other stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Mate, lastly, I want to talk about like you as a person, because the fact that you've just turned 20 it freaks me out when I meet you young guys doing so well and so ambitious and driven and hungry, because most 19 and 20-year-olds that I have met are not like that. They're on the piss.
Yeah.
It's all about clubbing. They're spending all their money. They're spending all their spare time gaming and just kind of, and that's cool. I'm not having a dig at that. But why are you like this? And I know it's from growing up and wanting a different life to how it was, but surely I want to get to know a bit more about your daily routine. Like, if you're not clubbing and gaming all the time, like what are you doing outside of work that keeps you sharp and focused?
Yeah, so as you know, the main motivator was just wanting to be able to provide, never having to worry. But then I'd say the other thing that complements that is I just don't want to be average. I think I'm surrounded by, no, it's a bit hard to say, but like average people. I just want to be someone that leaves a legacy. I want someone to go, wow, he did amazing things. He built something amazing. But it's also just something I want to be proud of. It's like, hey, I did build this company over 20 years. It's something I can be proud of. Building something, not being average. So for me, a daily routine is waking up, just having a slow morning for myself, just for a bit of decompression. I'll then I normally do about 8-9 hours of labour work. Then I come home straight on the computer for 2 hours. And then I'll either do a gym workout or I'll go to Muay Thai at the moment, which is like kickboxing. So I'll do something physical because that's also, beyond the business, I always have some physical goal for the year. And then I sleep. That's it.
Sleep.
Same thing, it's a repeat.
But I get the impression that you're consuming a lot of learning as well.
Yeah.
So how and when are you doing that? Is it podcasts? Are you reading? I want to know that side of it.
Whenever I really have the opportunity to, I should be doing more, and I know I should be doing more, and that's something I can do better at. But when I'm doing my long runs, so at the moment I'm training for a marathon, so that's 2.5 hour runs. And I'm kind of listening to a couple podcasts and they're trying to retain it while I'm out of breath, and then I'm curating my algorithm. So I do scroll on social media probably an hour, 2 hours a day, hour in the morning, hour at night, but just trying to curate it so at least there's kind of, if there's inspiration or something that's actually going to educate me on there for sure. Yeah. And I wish I've really never been good at reading books just because I haven't done it enough. Yeah. Not the sense of I just can't read, but I've probably finished one book in my life. I just like visual. I'd rather watch a video, more entertaining than me, than flipping pages. Yeah. But I should be reading more books. Yeah. Look, I don't think it matters how you get it, whether you're watching it, listening to it, or reading it. It's the fact that it's going in the brain. I do it on my walks and runs as well because it's like, it's two birds, one stone. It's like just combining the activity together, which is good use of time. I think it's always important to go, and I do this, is like if I hear something on the podcast and I'm like, hey, shit, that's a really good point.
hey Siri, set a reminder, blah, 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 blah. So then when I get back, it's actually, no, nothing right now.
There you go.
Yeah. So then later in the evening, it's like, hey, don't forget, look up this and research it a bit more and maybe implement that. Okay, cool. So any kind of like key influences or people that you're like, I love their shit and I watch their stuff all the time?
No one crazy come to mind. Leaders in the industry, always following, but the main thing is I'm just always. Another thing, I got into the detailing business, I know, hey, these clients are going to have nice cars. Detailing is a luxury service. Now 50% of my clients are business owners, so I'm just trying to extract as much knowledge as I can, drop the ego down, realize I actually don't know shit, because I really don't. I'm 20 years old. They've been in the industry for 20 years. Can I listen to them? What can I extract? What can I learn? And having that open mindset, for sure, that's a big thing.
I think it's a great approach. I still have the same one. I don't know shit. And you have to have that, because otherwise your ego and everything gets in the way. And then that gives you the opportunity to talk to people and say, why do you do it like that? Why did you choose them over this? Why are you doing that and not this? Like, and what do you think is important? And what did you do with your money? And, do you think franchising is a good idea? No. Ask someone else. Do you think it is? Yes. You get kind of to have that debate so that you can actually come up with stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've seen it and read it a ton of times, but you particularly in that kind of business environment, you've really kind of succeeded when you find yourself being the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah.
Because you've built a whole bunch of talent around you who you don't get no idea what they do or how they do it. But if you've been able to build a business and you can sit in a room and go, I'm the dumbest person in here, then that's a win.
Yeah.
Cool. So, mate, congratulations. I think you're absolutely killing it, and especially at such a young age. Whatever path you go down, and I'm sure there'll be many along the way, you're going to absolutely nail it with that kind of outlook and attitude. Have you got any advice for people watching this? And I was going to say, talk to the young ones, but I think don't. I know 50-year-olds who aren't doing anywhere near what you're doing. The future doesn't look good for them, to be honest. But what advice would you give to people who are thinking about making a change, thinking about leaving their job, thinking about starting a business, or thinking about kind of building something? What's your advice on that?
Start your side hustle.
Start your side hustle.
Because that's what happens. That's where it all starts. Like you said, it's an experiment.
Yeah.
It all starts with an experiment. Nothing's legalized. You got no name. Start with an experiment. Try, see how it goes, build your confidence, and then take the leap.
Yeah. Anything else?
And like we were just talking, stay optimistic, stay open-minded, realize you don't know anything, speak to a lot of people, and then, and always continue to learn.
Well, this wasn't planned, but it is a good segue. We do have the Fired Up app launching in the App Store on the 1st of May, and there is a free course in there called Side Hustle Success. So that will talk you through some side hustle ideas, how to get set up, how to get implemented. There's no cost for that. That means that there's no excuses for you not having a go. Mate, absolute pleasure. Thank you again for your time and the great work you've done. I look forward to catch up with you maybe in a year or two and see how things are tracking.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Thanks for listening to the episode. Please make sure that you like and share this content with people who need to hear it. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to the channels and following us on socials. Stay tuned for future updates where we bring on more guests and give you more insights so you can be fired up to go and make it happen.